Fans can win a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home in Temecula Vallay. They just play slots or table games at Pechanga Resort Casino through May 30. To earn entries, visit Pechanga.com or call 888-PECHANGA for details. And hey, Trojan fans, did you know the Ralph's app gives you easy access to weekly sales and personalized coupons? You can earn fuel points to check out the app today and save while you cheer us on to another great season. Ralph's proud partner of USC Athletics. We're doing a little pivot here. We're waiting on the big fella Jamal Jarrett, who's coming up. But right now, I've got Jordan Moore, Shaun Cody, Cody Kessler, and Keely Eure, and we're going to talk about him before he gets in the room.
Of course.
Because we promised, as we said last week, we broke down the offense a little bit. This week we would break down the defense, and it does seem like the defensive line loading up on size, Shaun, seems to be like the big offseason plan.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Big Jarrett, Jamil Jarrett. He's a heck of a big guy. I got a chance to check out practice on Saturday. We had a big alumni event. I don't know why Cody didn't pop through on Saturday.
You got the practice?
Everyone got the email. Yeah, it was a big thing for alumni to show up. We had Ronnie Lott in the building.
I was watching the Masters.
Willie McGinnis. I mean, there's some legends. Darnell Bing was out there.
You didn't invite your co-host? You didn't tell him?
He got the email. He was on the email chain. I saw his name.
Yeah,
so it must have went to his spam.
Cody!
It's Masters Saturday. I love you. I'm here 4 times a week.
It ends on Sunday, but whatever. So I was out there working for the school, you know what I mean? So, yes. D-line looks huge. You got a lot of big guys. Silver was out there. He's got a little knee injury, but he's out there, big body. Dev Tompkins was out there. He looks like he's put on some size. Stewart, the young guy, moves around very well. Big guy. So really impressed with the size they got. And you can add that to the guys you got coming back. Kobe Pepe, who's out there looking physical. So just a lot of meat out there on the field. A lot of big guys ready to play some Big Ten football, I think.
Jarrett at 350, Silver at 330, Jakeem Stewart playing DN. Listen, as a DN at 290.
Yeah, and I watch him line up at every position during pass rush drill. Love to see that. Love to see him at the nose guard to the defensive end, working all his moves. So they're gonna use him in a lot of ways, I think.
Yeah, and that matters, right? I know the intimidation factor and the eye test and all of that. Okay, you got to go out there and prove it on the field. But I promise, as an opposing quarterback, you walk out and see Jamal Jarrett and Keyshawn Silver and Kobe Pepe and all those guys. It is intimidating, because you're looking at those guys, and especially throughout the week in the film room, how are we going to protect against these guys? How are we going to be able to run inside zone with 600 pounds in the middle on a shade and a 3-tech? Stuff matters.
700 pounds.
Yeah, 700. I'm sorry. But it's cool, too, and I'm so excited about the young guys, just to see them continue to develop. We talked about it early on, about them getting thrown in the fire last year because of injuries. They struggled at times. It's tough to go play in the Big Ten, right, as a young player, when you don't really know what your skill set quite is. You don't know what you have in your toolbox because you're learning on the fly. That is going to help them so much this year. And then the other guy I said is Kobe Pepe. I don't want him to be a forgotten name. It is so important to have veterans in this room.
And it does seem like the Big Ten of it all is a big part of the adjustment here.
1,000%. We talked about it last year, but they tried to emphasize in the weight room big gains, quote unquote, because you need to be, you need to block the middle. You got to stuff the middle. I know that was the issue that we talked about last year. They definitely wanted to emphasize that you will not pass through. And we talked to the linebackers a lot. They said, and even the safeties, they're like, it's a difference. We can tell. Sometimes we mess up on the back end, but the front has us in that sense. So it's been interesting to hear that.
You could hide it in the Pac-12. You could, if you didn't have a great offense defensive line, you could hide it sometimes with some skill players on the outside. The Big Ten, you can't get away with that.
Yeah, I mean, the first half of the schedule, I remember last year, it just felt like no one was throwing the ball.
Yeah.
And it was just simply the style of the opponent. It wasn't even necessarily USC. It opened up as the season went on a little bit in some of the opponents. So there still is a mix of opponents. And so as you go down a tier to that linebacker level, we talked to Coach Ryan last week. He made it basically clear, it seems like he knows who his 2 guys are, at least to start things. We know how important Eric Gentry is. I think it's that spot next to him that'll be really interesting to see. Desmond Stevens clearly has the lead in that category. A lot of people talking about Jaden Walker, though, as another guy to watch.
Yeah, this Anthony Beavers was out there. Looked like he put on some weight as well. So they got some guys. You run out Gentry, you run out Desmond Stevens. Those are 2 good-looking athletes to run out there in the field. So, and you throw a Kamari Ramsey out there. You throw, it just looks like a real nice-sized football team. Visually, it looks good out there, and you can see that Eric Gentry, I think he's ready to have another breakout season, because he got, unfortunately, last year didn't go the way he wanted with injuries and stuff. But I think you have him out there. He's a difference maker on defense.
Yeah.
It's worth noting though that the spring portal window does open in 2 days on the 16th, and that is somewhere where Coach Riley identified there is depth issues when it comes to linebackers, and he said we don't think we're going to be super active, but if we are, it is for those linebackers because, with Eric Gentry, such a game changer on the field, but health is a concern. So they want to make sure that they have depth in that room. Yeah,
that made me feel a lot better that Coach Riley acknowledged that. Right. And like you said, Eric Gentry would have been an All-American, in my opinion, if he stayed healthy the way that he was playing. But you have Eric Gentry, you have Desmond Stevens, who I think is going to be a breakout star on the defensive side of the football. We talked about Jaden Walker. I think he's playing well. Then you have Anthony Beavers go from that safety to linebacker spot. He's still a hybrid type player, a Deion Bailey, a Sua Cravens. Now, I'm not putting him in that category, but that's the body type he has. We need more depth in that position group, whether it's a veteran that's a proven player, whether you go get a younger guy that has a lot of potential and a lot of upside. We just had to add one more, two more guys because even if Gentry and Stevens play majority of the snaps, you have to have different packages. You can't run them out there every single time, and God forbid an injury happens, and then we're in panic mode like last year with Eric Gentry, some of those guys going down. You can't have one or two players get hurt and your entire position group isn't going to go out there and be able to perform.
That was my takeaway, though, looking at safety, but it does seem like they're very high on Christian Pierce as a guy that maybe could be that big depth piece for them because they went out and got Bishop Fitzgerald to play alongside Kamari Ramsey. So you do have really two experienced players there. But again, I mean, we know this is football. It's like you never know what position it's going to be, but you can just never have enough guys.
Christian Pierce is someone who stood out to me as a true freshman. He's a guy who you can hear him hit on the field no matter where you are. He has that fierceness. I'm not going to compare him to Taylor Mays, but Taylor Mays was very high on him when we talked to him about his evaluation. He's a guy who from the start has a nose for the football, and they just needed him to get his comfortability with the playbook. That was the biggest thing for him. So it sounds like he's getting there. Riley said he's made the most growth over the offseason and that he's kind of almost become a leader. He described him as an alpha type. So that's someone who I would earmark as look out for him in the secondary.
Yeah, I was watching Ronnie Lott and Darnell Bing break down the safety room. I thought that was a pretty cool experience.
Watching those two guys to talk to
watching
about
those guys talk over there I saw how they're watching the safety, so they're pretty good company out there.
The corner room seems a little bit more like guys they want to develop. They brought in DJ Harvey, who's got a lot of playing experience, but otherwise it's a lot of guys that have been here that, again, this sport still comes down to coaching. You're not just, plucking pieces out like it's a video game.
Yeah, Marcellus Williams is the first guy that stands out. Yep. Younger brother, Max Williams, and another guy that flashed last spring, got buried a little bit on the depth chart. But we've lost so many guys in that position group that it's frustrating right now okay, who's the next guy up? Another guy I love, Prophet Brown, and I've been high on him before. But yeah, DJ Harvey, if you guys haven't seen it, go put on his tape at San Jose State. He is... I know it's not quite the Power 4 conference. I know it's not quite the Big Ten, but he has all of the makings of a lockdown cover corner. I think he can come in and have a big impact on this defense.
DeCarlos Nicholson also back. He played a bunch of football, really experienced players. So there's some guys certainly in that room, but I'm interested to see how the secondary plays out, and ultimately when adversity hits and a couple of these levels, as you guys talked about, what's that second line look like at all these spots? So we will see. The front line, though, Ja Jarrett leads the way, and he is next. When you've got good beer and good vibes, it's all Buena Stone Buena Vesa Salt Lime Lager is Baja inspired and imported from San Diego, located near you at find.stonebrewing.com. And fight on Trojans and fly on with ONT. Ontario International Airport is a proud sponsor of our USC Trojans. Visit SoCalSoEasy.com to book your journey through ONT today. More Trojans Live coming up. One final segment of Trojans Live on a Monday night. Jordan Moore, Shaun Cody, Cody Kessler, Keely Eure back with you. Shaun's headed from here to the Dodgers game. He has his entire family here in Dodger blue. Do you want to
introduce them one by one? Or
please do.
No, I'm not. They're not. No, they don't get any camera time. They're going to the Dodger game already. That's.
You want to give your Dodgers preview? They've been struggling lately.
Yeah, I mean it's baseball, man. We got 150.
Keely like that. Keely heard that.
Yes.
Angels been all right.
All right, I'll take it. That's the bar's low, Jordan.
Yanks can't pitch. Cody, you have a baseball team?
Yeah, I'm a Dodgers fan. Right? I mean, we were.
He asked you for confirmation.
I don't know. You tell me.
I was talking so much trash last year in the World Series.
I don't know what people from Bakersfield do.
We watched.
No one does,
Dodger
Cody.
baseball, and then we come to USC and don't go back. We go back to visit though. Bakersfield, I love you guys. I did not mean that, but yeah, we try to get out of there, and then we go back and see everybody for a couple days, and then we go to a Dodger game.
The over-under is presented by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC Athletics. I'm going to start with a trivia question. I'll be impressed if any of you can get this one. Can you name the last USC Trojan to have 100 tackles in a season?
Cam Smith.
Can we get the year?
Cam Smith is a good guess. He has done it.
Thanks for me.
He is not the most recent one. He is the second most recent.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Okay, so it's not Easton Mascarenas Arnold because
Easton had 95.
Yeah, he wouldn't
season.
ask that.
Oh,
so after Cam Smith,
Cam and now
this is tough though because I was.
Oh, you're checked out. You were saying you were.
I was still playing at that time.
Checked
so
out.
I wasn't.
Do you count Kanai?
As a human being?
Oh, yeah. No, sorry.
Sure.
I'm getting my rosters confused.
Anything he did for USC would count. He does not fit the description. He
Got it. Never mind.
Cam Smith was also at the alumni.
He might have led the team in tackles one season. He might have been on the list, but it wasn't 100.
He was a tweener. I think that's why I asked.
This guy was called a little bit of a tweener. John Houston Jr.
Oh, really?
That came to mind.
Did it?
John Houston had 100?
He didn't have the confidence to throw it out, though.
But that felt like before Cam Smith a little bit.
They played together.
They did, but
John played after.
inherited, yeah.
I thought it was okay.
I think I played with John Houston for a year before
What?
I left.
Wow.
Wasn't he a freshman my
Time is a flat circle.
Yeah, wow.
he was coming in. Either way, that's what I was going to say too, Keely, John Houston. Yeah,
Totally.
Tip of my tongue.
Everyone had the right answer.
Yeah,
we
had
didn't
it.
want to share it in the
Jordan going
time.
trivia.
So I won.
Sure. Under 90 tackles for USC's top tackler in 2025. Is there a guy on this team that you think is going to get volume tackles?
Yeah, I'm
Kamari
going
Ramsey.
Okay, I like that. I'm going Eric Gentry over, and I'm going 10 tackles for loss as well.
Well, last year I think we started talking about 20 tackles for loss.
Yeah,
and then
I got to see a little sample size, but yeah, I'm going over, and I think he's going to be a problem this year.
Yeah, I would say over. Especially we just talked about the depth issues with linebacker. Well, now you're going to have someone probably get majority of the share of the role. So
just seemed like it's a certain type of linebacker, and I'm not sure that these guys are that. I'd be curious to see because you immediately jump to safety, which I think sort of triggers kind of what I'm talking about. Like, is Eric Gentry the kind of guy that gets 100 tackles?
Yeah, it might be a little wear and tear on Eric Gentry.
When he plays outside sometimes, he's not necessarily like that, classic
more splash play guy that you want creating havoc kind of guy than just accumulating tackles, I think.
He's an every down guy, though. That's why I think he does a great job in nickel. He does a great job in base. We saw how physical he was last year, but don't sleep on Desmond Stevens. I'm telling you, he could be close to that 90.
Yep.
Not sleeping, but we are leaving. Thanks to everyone involved for putting on Trojans Live. We got one more to go this spring. Until then, fight on, everybody.